welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
We always start we're always laughing about something when we tune in.
I'm sorry, they're not inside jokes. We're just silly that way.
Because, okay, this is why. I start the recording, and then these two always have something else to do. So, anyway, so that's why we're always laughing by the time we get on camera.
iPad
That's
case.
That's okay.
Okay.
Beth's concerned because you're looking at our iPad case. But that's okay. I'll move it if it'll make you feel better. Here we go.
Yeah.
Nice and neat. The rest is a mess, but hey, that's okay. That part's neat now.
Yeah.
Well, so we're back. We're going to talk about some of our craftiness.
July 4th is a week from tomorrow.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's not on a Sunday.
Yes,
it is.
It's on a Sunday?
Yes.
July 4th is on a Sunday this year. This is news to me. I can't.
It is the last
Saturday.
Okay,
So here's my problem. We've been talking about moving my daughter from one apartment to another apartment in Boston, and it's taking place at the end of August and the beginning of September. Well, all this talk, I even rented a U-Haul already, and then last night I bought my plane tickets. I think it's like tomorrow. I'm like, I think I'm leaving at the end of June, or maybe I'm leaving at the end of July. But no, it's not to the end of August. So my whole brain has skipped the whole summer.
Well, because you've had to secure that.
Well, it's like
the hotels and stuff, because all the colleges are starting and
know.
everything. Yeah.
That's why.
Well, when you called me, and was it this morning or was it
I
yesterday?
don't know.
About staying pet sitting and all that, and it's like, oh, okay, but you're like, I'm like, what's the end of the summer?
Well, I know, but I just
like,
just want.
am I going to forget between
she's
now?
thinking ahead.
I'm thinking ahead because I told my daughter, I said no one else, because I was very easy to rent a U-Haul and they're like they're available, and I said no one else is thinking about this but your crazy mother. So because I rented a U-Haul, for 24 hours on the 31st and the 1st.
But you got one.
But I got one,
Yeah.
and it says guaranteed it'll give me $50.
It's not like when Mom and Dad took you and they couldn't find a
hotel
or anything.
Well,
No.
when
I planned way ahead.
when the second year I was in graduate school and Dad and I drove out there by ourselves, at that time of year everybody's moving in, and so there weren't any hotels to be had in Bloomington, and so we stayed in some ratty, crappy, hole in the ceiling motel out in the middle of I don't know where, Indiana.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Fortunately, it was
Mom and
only
Dad were
overnight,
never,
but-
let's make reservations.
Well,
kind
and
of
to be
family.
fair, there were no computers.
Yeah.
Where you could just look up online and find your thing, or
Yeah.
hotels.com or whatever.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we have a condo to stay in. I think I may have mentioned
Yeah,
this.
Yeah.
a friend of yours.
Maybe I didn't mention this, but a friend of mine. I don't think I talked about it last time. We talked about it.
I think it happened right afterwards.
Yeah. So I've been stressing about this trip, and I just happened to send a funny picture of my cat to a friend of mine who lives just outside of Boston, and she said, "We have a condo. We just bought a condo in Boston as a vacation home." I think she meant like she's going to be renting it out, but her daughter stays there sometimes when she's doing internship things. She goes, "But you're welcome to stay with us any time." And I was like, "Are you kidding?" So I'm coming. We're trying to organize this trip, and she's like, "It's yours." And it's very close to the school and close to Hannah's current place, and everything's far from her new place because she's going to be a little bit out on the line, but it's going. It's like just a miracle. So I'm very grateful for that. So we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, so our trip to Boston is planned. Got the tickets. We have a place to stay. We got the U-Haul. Now we just got to wait 2 months. And my brain keeps folding time, thinking, wait,
It's tomorrow.
What do you mean? It's tomorrow. It's next week. We're leaving next week. But Eli's very excited because we're going to celebrate his birthday over there. And I said, I have a restaurant in Little Italy I want to take you to. So he was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's
yeah.
fun.
So it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
So,
remember.
weather update.
Weather update. We had rain.
Yeah.
Actual
A whole day of
falling
rain.
down rain.
Where I needed my windshield
my
wipers.
wipers worked. I was so excited because my new car has automatic wipers, and I got to use them. It's so exciting. So when the rain slowed down, they slowed down, and when it got worse, they sped up.
When I saw that
I
it
felt
was
very
gonna
rich.
it was only going to be 89, I was like,
Yeah.
And then I looked at the clouds and I was going,
And since then, it's not been too bad.
no, it's what's what 106 or 107 today. I know to
That
other
sounds
people
bad
that sounds
to you.
hot, but
To us,
but for
compared to
when it was
118.
yeah.
It's very cool and nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go swimming later today, and yeah.
Some other fun things that happened is we had a craft day with my sister-in-law Rachel, and so she came over. We had one here on
We
Monday.
did do a whole heck of a lot of crafting.
Well, we did.
We did some.
We had to go shopping for shopping, and we had a lot of fun doing that. And because basically we took Rachel and we dunked her. We dunked her in the sea of cross stitch.
Yes.
We said, "Here, swim."
You need this, and
She
you
bought
need
some
this,
more
and
And
you
she had
kits.
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
she
so
bought some more kits
Beth,
and stuff.
if you look at our Instagram, which is Three Sisters Creative on Instagram, you will see some photos from that first day.
Yeah.
And then we decided to do a follow-up at my house. We were going to do it again here on Wednesday when my doggy's sick. So we had a follow. We just got together and did some work.
That was a
and
very unfortunate day for me because she lives very close to Mole Queen.
Mole Queen Sewing, quilt shop. So we were like, I'm hungry,
Oh.
and also Mole Queen is right there. So we went to Mole Queen Quilt Shop, and
I do need one of those bags. It has the fabric that I bought at Mole Queen.
okay, we'll get it in a sec.
So,
But
so I spent $200 at Mole Queen. I went there
It's not my
specifically. No, actually, it was my fault because I said I want to go to Mole Queen. That's where I bought my my
Was-
sewing machine.
But it was very serendipitous for me because that's how I found that fabric.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So I bought my sewing machine there a little over a year ago, and they give discounts on things if you purchase your sewing machine for them. And I wanted quilting feet. A year ago, I elected not to get them. I thought, I don't really
quilt?
need them, And they weren't cheap, but I want to make myself a quilt. I have the fabric, and I'm just remembering how. And so,
With my health.
yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
we went
so-
there, and she got a quilting foot, a walking foot is what she got, and a quilting foot.
I got the walking foot. I got the little arm thing that helps you do parallel
Guiding.
lines. I got a 1/4-inch foot, and
Did you get the quilting foot? The open quilting foot, after all.
I don't know.
You know
I
the
bought
one that
three.
where you put the feed dogs
Yeah,
down and
yeah. I got that quilting foot too.
That's fun.
I
Look
think-
for more quilted bags on our Etsy shop. They're
Yeah,
super
I
fun.
have. I'm practicing on some batiks that I bought that I've showed on my channel, and I've cut out most of the what I need to do, but not all of it, because I'm doing a very simple quilt to just get used to piecing and all that. Because I made quilts a long time ago, and I would make the seams too small or stuff like that, or not even, and so there's one of Beth's still, and needs to be repaired. So so that's what we did at Mole Queen.
Yeah.
I went and said, yeah, I want that one, that one.
Well, it's
but
nice
I
to
got
have such
what
a
I
good
needed.
resource so close to
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Because they have another shop, their original shop, and it's way
it's very
east.
very far.
Very
That's
far
where I
east
had to
and
pick
north.
up my sewing machine.
Yeah, that's where I bought mine. So
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I love that shop, and it's little, and but yeah,
Yeah,
that was fun.
it was fun. And it seems like a frivolous thing to spend $200 on sewing machine feet,
No.
but I'm at my sewing machine almost every day, and
Well,
I've been doing stuff for the Etsy site,
Right.
but to keep my mind, I don't want to do the same thing all the time every day, which
well,
is
not
why.
only that, but you can expand what you do for the Etsy shop
Yeah.
too. For our,
Yeah, if
our
I find
bags.
myself, oh, you know what, this is really pretty, and that's kind of what happened. I'm going first today because I have stuff in front of me. That's kind of what happened with this. I wanted to use some 4th of July fat quarters that I have, and I have more, but not exactly like this. I have like red
That is
flowers
so
and blue
cute.
stripes and dots and dashes. I don't know. Anyway, I wasn't
Love
going to
that.
make this kind of bag. I was going to adapt the regular pattern that I use and do something just a little bit different because I wanted to use the stars above the stripes. And, but I made one of the first cuts wrong. And I said, ugh. And then I said, well, you know what? I could do a drawstring bag.
I've been at a conference all weekend, and one of the things is like mistakes are necessary. Failure is necessary, and that
and
creativity.
So I squared off the bottom
Love
so
it.
that it'll stand up by itself. I already pulled it once, and it stands up better, especially if you had stuff in it.
like yarn.
Like yarn, yeah. And I made the casing just a little bit too snug, so I'm having trouble getting the other thing in. But this is a prototype. I just was making it up.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And so I sent Naomi a whole bunch of pictures. You know, I cinched this up. I'm like, does this cinch up enough? You know, so you know, it can get tighter.
But it's nice. I love the square bottom. As a knitter, you want that because you want it to sit somewhere next to you, and your yarn in there, so it's contained. And I was like, oh,
so
that's
I was so
perfect.
worried about the top not being sturdy enough that I think I put just way too much
Interfacing or
fabric and interfacing,
Oh.
both. So I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
But
it'd be better in the bottom, and the top just fabric, because then you can cinch it real easily, and the bottom will stand up. I think that's my idea.
Yeah.
But I think it's great.
But
and I'll use it.
So I'm going to adapt it a little bit and keep making it. But I have more of the fat quarters I used for this. They're not this particular pattern, but eventually something like this will be on our Etsy site as soon as it's a quality that I feel worthy of sale.
I'll use your rejects.
Meanwhile, I'll call Naomi's birthday is in July, so she gets a lot of 4th of July stuff.
That's
So
right.
as soon as I stick that other strap in there, if I can do it without having to take out all this stitching. But I did work on other stuff. I finished the
Those are so love the
what are
fish.
these called? Notions pouches.
Notions pouches.
And
I love that.
threads.
Threads
There's
everywhere.
always threads. I cut them all off before we send them, I promise. But you know, it takes a while before you can find all of them. Okay, so
Oh, nice.
this, and it's got a little fishy charm.
Nuh-uh, let me see. I'm crazy for fish right now. Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. So
Love it.
So
We'll
there's
put
two
pictures.
that'll be up there, and so that's the kind of Etsy update. They're not on the site yet because I just totally finished them not too long ago today. And this, of course, this is the prototype, which needs to be fixed. And then, and I have more 4th of July fabric. I realize 4th of July is like right away, but it comes every year. I might make 1 or 2 of these bags before.
Before.
Yeah,
This
but
week.
you know, if I don't, they'll be there.
Well, we
shortly
live in
after
the
the
United
4th.
States all year. So.
Yeah, so we do. And I can't put that there because I need to open that chair. Sorry. Bear with me a second. So, but the major thing is I finished my whale on a light bulb.
So cute. Love it. What are you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna make a flat fold, I think.
What's that?
It's where it kind of stands up like this.
Oh, I see. That's adorable.
And then you can put it away by folding it flat, you know. And it's basically like a what are
Can I
those
see
signs that they put outside?
Sandwich sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as,
And
well, a sandwich sign is the kind you wear, but
yeah.
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 That's so
So
cute.
this was designed by Maria Bravko,
We'll
And-
put a picture up right here.
And her
Oh,
her Etsy shop is Cute Patterns by Maria, and her prices are beyond reasonable. They are
that is so
very
nice.
good prices. And this isn't the only cute pattern,
Mhm.
you know, on her.
I'm
on
still
her
gonna
Etsy
write you a
site.
song. Oil in a light bulb. Oil in a light bulb. I don't know. It needs to be a song. I need to write it.
So I'm so happy. I'm happy because I'm done, but I love the way it came out. I'm glad I dyed this fabric. It was already blue, but I dyed it slightly darker. And oop, I'm sorry, doggy. I just kicked my dog. But I keep saying about this that he's dreaming of someone he loves.
You know, it's so sweet.
So
It is so sweet.
Yeah. So
I love the way it looks stitched. So much more than even the picture. It looks so.
yeah.
It looks so. There's a lot of relief. I guess it looks. It makes it look round.
Yeah.
It really looks actually round.
So
It's really nice.
I'm really pleased with the way it came out, and I'm very happy that my cross stitch camp project is done before the end of the month. July is going to be pretty intense cross stitch wise. I have a snowman kit that I'm going to do for Jolly July, which is going to be kind of low on the totem pole. I'm going to be doing Tiny Modernists When Witches Go Riding Sal, and probably get behind in July, but August will maybe be a little bit better because I'm doing Coop Parade by Twin Peaks Primitive.
Twin Peaks
She said,
Primitives.
Twin Peak.
Twin
Twin
Peak
Peak
Twin
Primitives.
Peak Primitives. Okay. By whoever. And it's of a rooster pulling a chicken, like
Yes.
for an old fashioned parade.
So cute.
And I considered changing it. I bought a pattern by crazy name. What is it? Stitchy Princess or something crazy like that, or maybe that's just their Instagram name. But I had looked at it, and I bought a mermaid pattern under the sea, and it had a mermaid and different things, and it's a whole bunch of motifs, and I was like, well, that's a designer I've never done. I could do that one. But when push comes to shove, I really like the Twin Peak Primitives one, and that's what I had decided on already, and I have the fabric and everything. I have the fabric for the other one too, but I think I'm going to stick with the chicken because he's so cute.
He's cute. I love chickens.
Anyway, that's Beth is working on FFOing her owl. And
Finally.
yeah, and I had purchased these sew tights from Fat Quarter Shop.
Who's that?
They're
Was
like
it Fat
needle
Quarter Shop?
minders.
Was this from
that-
Fat Quarter Shop or from Missouri Star Quilt? It might have been
I
from
don't know.
Missouri Star Quilt Company. And they're magnets, kind of like needle minders. But I bought them because you can use them instead of pins on things where you don't want to stick a pin.
Oh, that's
And-
smart.
And they're very strong magnets. And I bought them for making vinyl front bags. I've tried a number of things, quilting clips and all that, and
That's smart.
I find myself getting very frustrated. And you have to, they'll stick to your sewing machine, so you have to watch what you're doing. But let me borrow this for a second. I use these to
That's
sew
beautiful.
that trim on. Beth can
is
show you more when she's doing her
gorgeous.
turn. I didn't want to stick pins in it. I didn't want to poke holes in that trim. I had a thread that I thought matched really well, and it turns out you can't even see that thread. So
Nice.
I used these, and it worked out very, very well. Although it's a good thing I work with needle minders a lot. When I'm taking pictures of the ones Beth makes or something like that, because they jump at you.
Magnets, yeah.
Magnets, yeah.
And if you're not careful, the very strong ones, they pinch. And so you're used to going like that because they were snapping at each other and flying across the room
That's
at each
that's
other.
a good idea. That's
Yeah,
a really good
yeah,
idea. Because there's
and-
some, there's some, it says wools, but there's also some satins that if you put a pin in there, you see that pin mark forever.
And I
Speaking of
I
pins.
saw these. I saw these on somebody's YouTube channel. She briefly said, "Oh, these are sew tights. They're really good for not putting pins and stuff." And she went on, and I was like,
What? Give me that.
and so I was getting something from Missouri Star Quilt Company that I absolutely didn't need. Some charm packs that were on their daily deal, and they're just right there. But anyway,
They're so beautiful.
yeah, it was. I was
It's like
just
all
on there looking.
neutrals. They're real pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll put a picture in right here.
Yeah, and so I looked these up. And there they were,
Nice.
and I'm going to be buying more packs.
That's really, how many come? Just the 3?
Just
or-
5.
Five.
Oh, 5.
Five,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
But
nice.
I don't think I'll need more than 5. But in case I do,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Parts of the
Well, when I was
sewing machine,
when I
it
was-
would cling to, but parts of it are plastic, so I would
Yeah.
imagine it wouldn't be too bad.
I'm sorry.
Parts of your sewing machine are metal and it would cling, but parts are plastic. So
Yeah, you just have to take them off before you come to the feed dog and all that.
it'd be a real mess.
Oh,
I
I've
would
had
say-
it do that with other magnets that I use, like when I was sewing the magnet in that bag, trying that one out. By the way, I hated sewing those, so I won't be making you.
I was gonna say that when I was putting this leaf fabric on there, it would have been not. I kind of like put just one.
It
on,
would have been nice to have
Yeah,
more.
it would have been nice to have more.
So there's going to be projects where we're going. How come I didn't buy more of these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will be
Nice.
ordering more of these when my hummingbird fabric becomes in stock. So I'd show them to you, but they'll leap across the room at me, and they're just really they're like a needle minder.
Yeah.
You could probably use, if you have a strong needle minder, it would probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Do you want me to go next? Since
Yeah,
you're
go
still
ahead.
working?
Sorry, I just talked.
No, that's
forever.
okay. No, I just have to show this because, okay, I did a conference. It was a Christian writers conference, writers, speakers, and leader conference today and yesterday. So yesterday, I have it here. Yesterday, so I could have been taking notes. I know, I should have been taking notes, right? But instead, I like to have my hands busy. So yesterday I worked on Rachel's shawl, and it is getting exponentially bigger. I did another whole repeat, so that's 16 rows, which it can be hard to focus on. So anyway, I did another repeat. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that. Look how it shows up on the camera. That corrugated
that's
look.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on it, Rachel. Just in case you're watching and you're like, "Where's my shawl?" There it is. Working on it. And then, so today I was like, well, what do I want to work on today? And I found this free pattern for their little, you can barely see probably, their little shorty socks. They just roll down on top. They don't have a cuff. They're so cute. And so I started it today. Actually, okay, side note. I started this little sock one night. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe it was a week ago when I was waiting for our video to upload. I do stuff. I think it might have been then. And I started it. Well, I stupidly, that was the night because I fell asleep. Anyway, Hobbs stole it. Stole it. This was a different yarn. It was a completely different ball of yarn because he stole it and bit it. So it was just the cuff at that point, or maybe a little bit of the heel, and it was, one part was in my bedroom, and the other part was in the hallway, and so I was like, well, I don't know if he destroyed enough yarn that now I won't have enough yarn, so I'm like, well, I'll just start over, and I had these cute little skeins. It's just sock yarn from Joann's or something. Anyway, so I thought, well, today I'll work on this sock during the conference. So I got all the way to the heel turn. I just love turning heels on socks. It's like knitting magic. I just love it because the way you do the stitches, it just turns it, and it's like a structure. I don't know if you can see that. It's just so cute. Anyway, so that's what this is my just you know, when you got to do something, but you don't want to think too much. You do socks. So, okay, so me, I watch a lady named Roxanne Richardson on YouTube. She's fantastic. She's a master knitter, and she has a beautiful channel that she does Technique Tuesdays, and on Fridays she does her Casual Fridays, where she just talks about random stuff and her current projects and everything else. But she talked about this book, and as soon as she started talking about this book, I'm like, I have to order that book. It's a brand new book. It's called Geometric Knit Blankets. And what this woman, I guess this woman is a retired, the person who wrote this, Margaret Holtzman, she's a retired, she was an engineer at Bell Labs and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So she's literally a rocket scientist. And she created this book to make blankets that are knitted in garter stitch, but that look like quilts. And so it's like marrying my two loves so much. And they are just gorgeous. It's just unbelievable, and so many beautiful patterns. And the one I want to do, where is it? You think I would know the page by now? Here it is. So she calls this pattern ribbons.
Anyway.
Okay, she calls this pattern ribbons, but in the quilting world, I've seen it called Storm at Sea. And if you look at it closely, it's all just triangles. But the way they're arranged, it looks like curves. And I think it's the most beautiful quilt pattern in the world. Now, I'm not sure why the video cut out at this point, but I wanted to show you the back of this book that shows all the designs that are knitted blankets that look like quilting. I think it's really beautiful. Have a finish. I posted this also on our Instagram. So I finished, did I finish this last week?
You finished it on one of the quilting days.
No,
the pattern.
Crafting.
The pattern I showed last week.
Days. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I finished this last, but anyway, I finally finished it, or fully finished it as they call it. And it's just real simple. It's not super frou-frou, but the lady I'm giving it to, I think she would appreciate this. And it's just so cute. I love the chickens. And it's just a simple ribbon.
This is Farm Fresh Eggs by Stitching with the Housewives.
Yeah. And so I just love this. And oh, there's something.
And that ribbon I got at Michael's.
Yeah.
They had.
I had bought ribbon when I bought the stuff for this pattern. I bought ribbon and I forgot it at home. So when I came over to finish it, but anyway,
my dog is nosing up my leg.
Okay, and then the other thing that I got. We're laughing because I accidentally turned the camera off with my big old elbow. Anyway, no. So okay.
Fortunately, she didn't. You know,
we didn't do the whole everything. I just noticed. I looked up and I was like, it says 0 on there. Okay, this thing won't turn on and off when I'm trying to press it, but when I just accidentally bump it with my elbow, apparently it works. So the other thing I bought. Oh, so I was saying that I love Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I used to go on there all the time for all my quilting that I did in years past. And I haven't quilted in a while, but I went to look at, I got an email, you know, I get their emails every day, they have a deal. And the other day, their deal was that if you ordered a certain amount, you got these quilting clips for free. And I've always wanted those quilting clips because she uses them. So I went on there to just see what they had. And you know that our mom died right before Christmas, and so the idea of Christmas is very difficult for me. And so I decided that I wanted to do something. Well, when I saw this, I said, you know what? I've been, like, every time I think about Christmas, I get, ugh. But I'm like, I want to do something fun for myself in anticipation of Christmas and something comforting. So I saw this, and I fell in love. So here, let me spread it out. This is probably how I turned it off accidentally. But it's a panel, and it's got Christmas gnomes.
Grab this out of the way.
It says, all roads lead gnome for Christmas, and then each little panel has a different gnome saying. I'll put them up.
I like the one that says these might be for Santa.
Yeah, he's holding milk and cookies. He says, these might be for Santa. So cute. Anyway, so I was like, I have to have that panel. Well, you know, you get a panel, and you're like, what am I going to do with it? So I saw that they also, with that fabric line, have a 10-inch square set. and it has all the fabrics that you see in that panel in 10-inch squares. And I looked and looked and looked and looked for a pattern, and because most of the patterns that Missouri Star does with 10-inch squares has you use the 10-inch squares and a contrast. And I'm like, I don't want to buy a contrast flannel. This is flannel. I don't want to buy a contrast flannel and make a giant thing. So I looked and looked for a pattern that just used one, they call this layer cake, just one layer cake, and I found one. And what it does is it cuts the squares down. I think you make a cut this way and then this way, and you have a 7.5-inch square and then 2 border fabrics, and you put them together contrasting, right? And oh gosh, I'm getting the fuzz everywhere. But so these little guys, I checked it, and these little guys will fit on 7.5 inches. One of them is a little tight side to side, but I think it'll work if I'm really careful, with the seam allowance and everything. But so I decided I'm going to cut out these white squares to 7.5 inches and use them with the layer cake fabric as borders, and just there's 7 of them, so I'll disperse them throughout the big quilt. And then this center panel, I've decided I'm going to cut it out by itself with the red and make it into a pillow. And the back of the pillow, I'm going to use all these little printed pieces that they have in between the squares. I'm going to piece it together and make that the back of the pillow. So that's my plan. And I have a black yard of black for the border. I'm going to probably usually they do like a 6-inch border, and that takes like a yard and a half, but I'm just going to do a little skinny border on it because it's just going to be like a personal size quilt. So this is how I'm comforting myself with the thought of Christmas, but I just love gnomes. I'll put up all these little panels on the screen. It's so cute, and I'm so excited about it. I'm sort of forcing myself to wait to work on it because I have lots of knitting to do and stuff like that. But
well, you could do it for Jolly July.
I could do it for Jolly July, but I have things I want to work on this summer, and then in August, Casapinka and Sharon's from Security are doing another mystery knit along, and I want to do that. So that's like 6 weeks from August to whenever, and so I'm going to do that, and when that's done, I think I'll start on this. And of course, also rotating all my knitting stuff, because I cannot ever have just one project to work on because I get bored. I have like a short attention span. So this will be after my September
What does that sound?
project. I don't hear a sound. Oh, it's somebody's phone. It's my
Yes.
phone.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's my phone. My phone's vibrating.
Yeah.
Hannah's trying to do a video call, so my husband will answer. But anyway, so that's me. I'm just plugging along. Have lots of things now lined up after all the things I have to do. And but I did finish a cross stitch, and I want everyone to celebrate this. But that's a big deal.
I was saying we all have.
She finished it
Finishes.
fast. Yeah.
Well, because it's very easy.
Yep.
Like I said last week, I'm always attracted to that very thick, a million colors, full coverage. I love those kind of cross stitches. But I'm trying to realize that unless I'm doing that exclusively, and even so, I do one thread on there, and I get kind of just, if I'm knitting, at least I have an inch or two to show for it. I guess that's how I feel. But this one I felt accomplished, like with every session that I did, and it was nice and small, and I realized it fit in the hoop that I was using, and I'm like, that's so amazing. I don't have to move my hoop, and I don't know. I really liked it.
I like the stitching with the housewives patterns.
Yeah, they're nice.
Not only are they cute, but there's something you can do, and it's not going to take you forever. So
Right.
you have the other projects that take a long time, but then you get that joy of, oh look, I finished one.
Yeah, I have so many projects going, and sometimes I get mad at myself because I can't seem to finish any of them. But I do, like, every day when I'm going to a doctor or I'm going to sit down at night and knit while I watch a movie, I do pick a different one almost every day. You know, I don't have, like when we did, what was that, Mania?
Mm-hmm.
I did make a schedule for myself, and that was really good because I brought them all out into the light, you know, and then that helped me sort of prioritize. Like, I really want to get that triangle shawl of Rachel's done. The owl cowl is going to take me a lot longer, but I want to get that triangle one done of hers, and I want to get those 2 little kids sweaters done. So I did have worked on those a lot, and then I was able to get Hannah's top done. So that was an accomplishment. But and I'm gonna put a picture because it's off in Boston already. But we made the kit for Hannah. We got all the stuff I showed you last week, and I took that flour sack and I made a bag out of it, a string backpack, and it came out so cute. And she loves it. And the casing is right where it said Bluebird. I'll put a picture right here. And I was able to. I was worried that the rope would be too heavy for that fabric, but it's kind of a stiff cotton, and I was able to tie the knots and glue the rope so it didn't fray, and I think it came out really, really nice. She really liked it, so I put the 2 cross stitch kits that they made for her in 2 separate gallon Ziploc bags and put them inside there. And yeah, she received it in the mail. It got there safe and sound. Yeah, she got it. So she was real happy about that. But I was really proud of that backpack. I was like, ooh. It was hard because you know, when you make something from scratch, you can sew it together. You can put a lining. I couldn't put a lining in it, you know, and I had to cut the seams down either side, and then, you know, I had it turned inside out, and then I had to fold it. Well, I had to kind of repair those seams, so I did diagonal like this, and I used my little brother machine because I initially thought I was going to do zigzags, but I couldn't get the tension on the bobbin right at first, and I'm like, this doesn't look good, so I just did straight seams. And then I'm like, well, I should have used my Juki because I know those seams would have been but so I still, even with straight seams, had some trouble. I had to take the bobbin out, put it back, and then it behaved, but it was difficult to take an existing bag and then make a casing and all that, you know. But it worked out. I think it worked out really well, and I tried really hard, and the printing on the bag wasn't exactly, or the seams on the bag weren't exactly straight, so I was worried it would look real crooked, but it looks great. It came out really nice and fun.
And so you did the grommets and everything?
Oh yeah, I did grommets. I learned I had to buy 2 different kinds of grommets, and I had to return, I had a pliers. Well, the pliers only work on one particular size, and it's really small. So I finally found a grommet thing where you put the grommet on top and put the little anvil in and hit it with a hammer, but it only works on one size of grommet. I'm like, how can you? But there weren't other hammers for the other sizes of grommets, so I can make that size grommet. But I learned how, and they looked beautiful. They looked really professional. So I was really proud of that. But so that was my week, and Hannah is off to Connecticut on Wednesday. She's getting on an Amtrak.
Oh wow!
Yeah, well, she got tickets on the fancy one apparently. I don't know. My husband's like,
so are you gonna sing her those Disney songs from the trains?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so that's us.
Yeah.
That's us. And I'm going to Boston next week. No, I'm not going to Boston next week. I feel like I am. But yeah, so we're just, I don't know. Tomorrow, this week, I'm going to go take my dad fishing. So I'll have a report next week. So it's your turn.
That fabric. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, before Beth starts, we just learned that Jupiter has 79 moons.
79 moons. I thought it was like 13. She thought it was 9. It's 79. Some are named, some are not named. The scientists.
79.
79. I think that just would count as like space dust. I don't know.
Yeah.
If the reason we're curious about moons of Jupiter is that she's finally making my solar system scissor fob, and she's thinking about, but I don't think you need to worry about Jupiter's moons. Only our moon counts. You can't see it, but it's
If
cute.
I'm going to put Saturn's rings, I should put a few moons around Jupiter.
Nah. Because everything has moons, doesn't it? Neptune has moon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Our moon is the only moon that counts. I'm declaring. I'm saying moon, ethnocentric moon views.
That's like that Star Trek movie where she says, you know, unalienable human rights.
Right. Inalienable human rights, yeah. That's funny.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So last time I talked about the that I think I talked about didn't I finish this?
Did you finish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so then
And then you were going to start the blue one.
Yeah. So I added this. So I did my Black Oak Angels, finished them, and so I added this angel. I didn't realize how much smaller it was. So this is the regular Black Oak Angels, and then they released this one on a mini card, and it's tiny, and it's also different because it has blue in it. And I used a 12 on this little kind of big star. All my other stars are black because of a mistake I made originally, but I like the way they look. But so all the other stars, there's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 other stars, just little black crosses, little satin stitches. But this one has a big star, and so I'm gonna insert a picture of this little one. But anyway, so I'm going to cut them all apart and make ornaments out of them. And I was
So cool.
searching for a fabric to back them, to put on the backside. And generally, I had thought about just plain black fabric. I probably have it set aside somewhere for that. But and this is the main booklet. The little mini card I have also somewhere. But anyway, so I'm gonna put this over here. So when we were at Mull Queen, we talked about they have all kinds of quilting fabrics, and so they just have a whole area of fabric. And so I thought, well, surely at
Stop
this
calling me
place,
Shirley.
they would have something appropriate. So I was looking for something medieval looking, like those angels, and I found this fabric.
That's beautiful.
It's just beautiful. And actually, they had kind of a grayish background, and then they had a couple of other bolts, and so I just grabbed a bolt and took it up to the front for the lady to cut it for me. And so while she was pulling out, there was like a remnant that was like a yard, because I thought, well, okay, a yard should be enough. And so she was pulling it off the bolt, and she said, oh, well, there's a little bit extra, and the one there was 1.5 yards. So I thought, well, I'll just take the 1.5 yards. And so while she was unfolding it, I was saying, yeah, I'm working on a project, blah, blah, blah. And so she said, well, this is brown, actually, not black. And she showed me the edge where, you could see folded over, it was very chocolate brown. And this side didn't look any different, very, very hard to tell the difference, but you could tell it on the edge, the selvage edge of the fabric. You could tell that it was brown. And so she said, there should be a black one there right next to it. So I went back, and sure enough, so this one is definitely black. But I thought it was just so gorgeous. It just looks like somebody, with like paint or whatever. It just,
that's really nice.
Just absolutely gorgeous. So my plan is to make these the back and that the front, and
really
probably
nice.
make some black and gold cording or something to hang them all on. And then the other thing I got was, because I have a scissor obsession, these little snips. And they come in a little plastic, case. And actually, there's a little thing. I guess this is a loop to hook them on. I don't know. This little loop.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I have the pair in my purse I keep forgetting to pull out.
But so yeah, I got these while I was there. Let me get this out of the way. But so today went to Tempe Yarn and Fiber.
Without me. I cannot believe that.
My other FFO now. This is while we were here on camera. I've finished it. Well, no, I should say it's not finished yet. I finished all the sewing that's involved. But this is the owl that I was working on for Rachel, my sister-in-law, for her birthday, which was in the end of January. And here it is, the end of June. So I'm finally, and I'm still not finished with it, technically, yeah. But so this is the owl, and this little leaf ribbon is some that Eve had, and
I bought that from Rose Mill.
yeah, and
rosemill.com.
yeah, and you can also find it at Hobby Lobby.
The one at Hobby Lobby is not as.
It looks exactly the same.
No, I looked at it. I was like, "Is this the same thing?"
Mm.
And it comes on a ribbon roll.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit smaller, and it's a slightly different color. But the ones at Rose Mill come in a couple of different colors. I just bought this one. I still have 2 other colors.
Yeah.
Because I thought that's really pretty, you know.
But it matches this fabric just really well. And I just found some green fabric in my fabric stash. Just
It's so cute. I
all
love
the pieces
that.
that I have.
It came out really beautifully.
And so Eve helped me by sewing because you know I'm not a sewer.
She did the hand
So,
sewing.
yeah, I did on the little casing here. So this
Machine
stick,
sewing is just sticking in and the feed goes and goes.
So this stick, I bought a bundle of sticks. Like I think there's 3 birch sticks that I bought at Hobby Lobby.
Isn't
and
that
they're-
what the technical term for bassoon
Yes.
is? It's a
Bundle
bundle of
sticks.
sticks?
Yes. So at Hobby Lobby they had
Fagotti.
these large sticks. They actually, I saw in a different section. I don't remember if it was at Joann's or at Hobby Lobby or. Yeah, I don't know. But they had, they had cut down
But weren't they thicker?
sticks, but they were a little bit thicker, and I didn't know exactly what size they were, how long they were. So, you know, since I hadn't measured this yet to decide how long a stick I wanted or whatever, I didn't want to buy, and I had already bought these, so I measured this and added a little bit of length, and then
What does this have to do with
Took out-
Tempe Yarn and Fiber? Nothing.
nothing. I already talked.
Oh.
Yeah, I already talked about it.
Oh,
No, I haven't yet gotten to that yet.
There was a reason
Sorry.
that we
I
went
was
to
like,
Tempe
wait,
Yarn.
Tempe Yarn?
No.
I don't see no yarn.
Um,
Sorry.
But anyway, so I took out my handy little crosscut saw that I bought several years ago, and I cut this length. And it was actually, I was very happy with it because I thought, well, you know, do I have to get up and find my sandpaper that I have, and you know, and it actually it
Cut nice?
cut very well, yeah. So this is going to go in here. Theoretically. Yeah.
I tried not to make it too big.
No, it's just right.
Okay.
That's so
The hole on either
cute.
side. And then
So-
that beautiful stuff that she
And
bought
then,
put inside.
Yeah, so then I was trying to decide. I was going to make, my original idea was to make cording to hang this from, and I was like, you know, it's funny because I've made some cording before, and I didn't have a cording tool, so I had found a tutorial that tells you how to do it, like just using a pencil and you know, hooking the thread, and you have to kind of, you know, sit there for a long time and, you know, twirl this little pencil around to twist the thread, but I was doing it. So not too long ago, Eve bought a Kreinik tool. The Kreinik little cording tool. And I thought, oh great, good. So she bought that so I can, make cording a little more easily. And now for some reason I've lost my cording mojo. I can't. I'm like
She tried
making
several
mistakes,
times
and so I'm like. So anyway, so we decided we talked about it, and with that cording that you bought to make the bag, I thought, well, something like that. We talked about it. Something like that would work better. And so when I was looking at them, they were all kind of like, well, that might work, and the color was not quite what I wanted, and all that. So, but then I found this, which is essentially like the ribbon trim that I put on there with leaves and stuff, but it's like wrapped with jute, braided with jute.
That's neat.
And I really like it. It's a little bit darker than this leaf trim, but I think it'll work as a hanger on the stick. And then I found this yarn, which is just hairy yarn.
Eyelash, it's called.
Yeah, and so I think I'm going to try to wrap it a little bit on this string, and then make some, let it like fringe down on the ends, and so to make it look like a tree, basically, like he's sitting in a tree. So yeah, so that's my.
I defied you and put on
A whole bunch of moons.
Did you put on 79?
no.
So anyway, that's
Then you're not accurate.
Yeah. So the reason I left the other bag thing oh well. So I was working on trying to work on FFO ideas yesterday, and that's partly why this owl came about. But then the other thing was that chart Blessed that I did some time ago, and so I was wanting to FFO that, and my idea was that it's a weeping willow tree, and then there's a little patch of grass. Well, I had purchased at and I don't know if I have any of them handy. No. Yeah.
You showed them before, the sheep?
Yeah, the little sheep charms. Well, I had originally purchased like 2 a long time ago, and they were just in a box in my room. And so my idea then originally was to get some more sheep and put them in that thing. So I bought basically all the ones they had, and I ended up, I was putting them on the pattern, and I thought, well, this one can represent my dad, and then I had like 5 more. So there was a green one and 4 blue ones. So I thought, well, the green one could be my brother, and the blue ones, if I got 3 of the blue ones, that would be us. But then we were thinking, well, what about the grandkids, my 2 nephews and my niece? And so we called over there yesterday.
You called yesterday evening.
And
not even
to
right
see,
before they closed.
yeah, to see if they had any more of those sheep charms, and they did not.
Oh no.
But they had these little sheep,
Oh, cute.
and so I
Take
got
pictures.
yeah. So I got 3 of them.
Ah.
So these little sheep are going to represent
There'll be a picture inserted
the 3 grandkids.
because they're little.
Yeah. So yeah. So I got these at Tempe Yarn and Fiber. So while I
Can't
was
believe you went without me. It's a good thing though.
you were
'Cause
in your conference.
I know.
So while I was there, I bought this.
You would have
little
ended up buying
project
yarn
bag.
for that quilt.
I
And
know.
it says Fiber Addict on there. No, Fiber Addict. And I figured, works for both, for all the, for knitting or for cross stitching.
That's cute.
So yeah, I like this bag. And then I also bought, because I have a scissor addiction, because it wasn't enough to just buy the scissors at Mall Queen, but I bought these scissors. So, and I almost bought, they had a pair of owl scissors,
Those
basically.
are cute.
But I saw those, and I like those better, so.
So pretty.
Yeah, so cute. Yeah.
Very cute.
It's this little green, little birdie. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to take a picture of it, I guess. And I also bought this gloves in a bottle. I bought a bottle of this before.
I love that lotion.
Yeah, it's really good. And
it
You
does
bought
it-
some of that too?
It's not
Mhm.
greasy.
Yeah. That was.
And it's I love it.
so yeah,
I love that
I've been using it, and I was thinking, oh, it's kind of running out. You know, I have lots of lotion. I have Jergens. I have Gold Bond.
It's so nice though because it doesn't.
Yeah,
I just
I
put it
really
on
like
before I
that.
got here. Actually, before I left
It's
because
not greasy.
I took a shower and my hands were like sandpaper, and it really helps smooth out that sandpapery feel.
I got
And-
some because when I'm stitching, I'm like trying to pull out the thread, and I'm like, I was like, I'm not a spider. Why is it sticking to me?
And yeah, so
Spidey.
so yeah, this gloves in a bottle. I saw it and I thought, let me get-
It's not cheap. Oh, by the way, they sell that at CVS.
yeah,
I've seen it
I
there.
thought about that, about looking
I've
for it.
been thinking about the big pump pump one.
Yeah, but yeah, so while I was there, while it was in
Well, I
front of my
almost bought
face,
some from Amazon, and this was cheaper than Amazon.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was
Better to give your money to Tempe Yarn anyway.
I like to buy local if I can.
So anyway, I think that's. I've been working on Easter preparation since I finished my stuff for cross-stitch camp for June. I was actually, because for camp my thing was just one of those angels, but I finished all of them because it only took me a week to
on
do it.
Instagram too?
Yeah. So, because it only took me a week to finish the one angel, so I just finished the whole set.
Which is amazing because she's had those for so long.
Yeah.
Well, when I
very curious
when I
why.
first started stitching on them, I did like the first 3 or 4, or well, 2. No, but there's a total of 8. So I did the first like maybe 3 or something. But then I was doing this and I was
Shiny
doing that.
things.
So yeah, well, and because those angels were for me, and not all the other things I
Yeah.
was doing for other people. So yeah, so I'm last on the list. So so I got interrupted, and I would stitch a little bit, and on them for things like for Mania, whatever, but I hadn't finished them. So I finished the 5th one of the 8. I finished it. I worked on it during Mania, and then I finished it at the end of May, so that for cross stitch camp, I could start the next one, the 6th one, and I finished that one right away, and so I did the whole set. So since June is not over, and I can't start my July one yet
What are you
for
doing
cross
in
stitch camp.
July?
In July, I'm doing Mini Spring by From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy, and her last name is, I think, Petros. I don't know how you say her last name, but anyway. But so I'm doing that, and it's small. It's like
That's really small, if I remember.
80 by like 47.
Here I picked these huge
something like
things.
that.
She's the one that cross stitches more than me, and I picked these huge things, and she picked these little things.
That's because I want to finish them
Every once in a
within
while,
month.
yeah, you just gotta cut your losses.
Yeah.
Well, and I
Make wise decisions.
I'm doing a lot of different things, but the pattern I want to do something I really want, and I had seen that pattern. A while back on Etsy, and I loved it, and then it just gave me an excuse to buy it.
Yeah. So I'm doing that, and then probably the other charts I'm working on, I'll probably finish working on Easter preparation. That's the one I'm doing right now, and that's a Twin Peak Primitives pattern. And also, I've been recently just like trying to organize some of my patterns, most of my patterns. So I bought a 3-inch binder and some page protectors, and started putting all my patterns in the notebook. And then I had bought some dividers also, like index divider things. And so my thought is I can organize them by designer, and then maybe if I have like all my Stitching with the Housewives patterns, I could divide them by, alphabetically or something. And the same thing with the Twin Peak Primitives patterns, for instance. And so, and then maybe by subject, like all my Christmas things or whatever, something like that. So I was putting all, this one stack of just random loose patterns that I have in this notebook. And then I have another notebook that has all the ones that I've already stitched, right? So then but my thought right now, my thing right now is, where am I going to put these notebooks? So I think I have to like sort of rearrange my area, and because at first I thought, I have these little rolling cart things, I could put them in there. They don't fit. So and I have to put them somewhere where my cats won't get at them, because actually the 3.5-inch binder that I bought, they're like insertable. You could put an insert in them, and I thought, I'll put something like some kind of cross stitch something or other on I can print that and just stick it in there, and so I'll know that these are all my patterns. Well, I had it sitting on my bed while I was doing it, and Snug was like, oh. So
no.
the front of my brand new notebook had these pinchy holes in it, like everything I own.
I've got you beat on that. I have a cat story though.
At least he didn't eat the yarn.
He doesn't eat it. So those of you that are worried about Hobbs, he doesn't. At least I don't think that he eats it, because I kind of put them together and say that's the same color change.
Yeah.
I'm always very worried about that, and I try to really watch it. I think he just bites it. Mm-hmm. But okay, so I think what?
Like Snug
Yeah.
bit through.
I've mentioned in the past that my husband is kind of like one step shy of a prepper, right? And especially during the pandemic, actually, it was very good for us that he is that way. But one of the things that he did some time ago, he ordered they're soft water containers. And there was a big one and a little one. And he had them filled with water in our closet. I don't ask questions. So I was like, okay, I get it. He's saving water, and that's there in case there's an emergency. Great. So lately, we have never let the kittens in our closet, because it's a walk-in, and it's got shelves on one side. And these water containers are just below the bottom shelf. Well, a little bit ago, they got in there and got into the shelves and knocking sheets down, the way kittens are. Cats, they're not kittens. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I go in there, and there's some towels off the shelf sitting on top of one of these water things. And I see Calvin back there. I'm like, get out of there. Come on. Because I think Mark's just kind of given up. And, of course, he locked him in there one morning. But he's kind of given up. I'm like, oh, well, And so I'm like, get out of there. Come on. And so I grabbed the towels, and I put them, against my leg while I grabbed him out of there and pulled him out. And then I went to put the towels back, and my leg felt wet. And I was like, what? And immediately you think the cat peed on something. And I'm like, what is going on? And so, of course, because I didn't shoo him all the way out the door, the cat goes under the other side. But I'm looking, and the top of that big container is full of water. It's got like a spigot on top where I guess you pour the water in, and then like a handle, it's complicated, and it, because it's soft-sided, it kind of squishes down. But I see these puddles of water, and if the if the towel hadn't fallen on it, there would have been water all over my closet because the towel was soaked. And so I guess what happened was we call them just their needles, with their claws, they got on there and somehow poked a hole in the top or something.
They're smelling the water.
I don't know. I think they were just doing it to get into the shelves. But anyway.
I got you beat on those.
Okay.
Because when I lived in Little Rock, one time I had bought some 7-Up for a work party thing, and so I had put them in a plastic bag by the door so I wouldn't forget to take them with me. Well, ordinarily I had what I called a staging area, which was a top of one of my bookcases where I had my purse and my whatever, and then I would put whatever I was taking to work or whatever, because it was a sort of what I call a cat-free area. And so, the cats couldn't or wouldn't get up there where I had all my stuff. And ordinarily, something like that I would have put up there, but I think it was probably not enough room or whatever. So I had put these 2-liter bottles by the door. So then at one point I was in the kitchen or something, or living room or something, and I heard and I went in there, and Puck had bitten, those little roundy ends of the bottle. He had bitten one of those, and one of those things was spewing Diet 7-Up all over the place, all over the wall. And fortunately, it was in the bag, but the bag had like tons of soda in there, and it was just like spewing out of this bottle everywhere. But the worst than that, was one time I had bought a bottle of motor oil.
Oh no!
For my car, and I don't think I had used any of it.
And you hadn't learned that the cat liked to bite plastic
This is the first one before the 7-Up thing. So I had a little coat rack in the entry, in my apartment there in Little Rock. When you walk in the door, it was tile, right? And there was the kitchen there, and there was like a post, and then you were in the living room. And the living room had hardwood floors, and then, blah, blah, blah. So right there in the entryway, I had put this bottle of motor oil. It's a plastic bottle of motor oil. I didn't think the cat would mess with it, right? So
at some point, poison himself and die.
At some point, I came in there, and he had bit the bottom of the bottle, and it had leaked oil all over the floor. Oh. So I was like, oh my God! So I picked it up, and I think I had to put it in a bag or something like that. I don't know, to keep it from leaking all over the place. And then I had to get like paper towels or something.
Oh, I bet it smelled awful.
Not only that, but it stained the floor. Ooh. I could not get that stain off of the floor. It was like kind of yellowish. Yeah.
So
okay.
Do you remember? We used to let our cats go out when we were young.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, I think maybe Panther, but I don't remember exactly. We had changed the oil, and the pan with the oil was still there. And the cat went running and leapt over the wall and landed in the pan of oil, completely covered with oil. It took me forever to wash that. And I don't know, because the cat had white, and it was stained brown, until I went.
That wasn't Panther.
It wasn't Panther, yeah.
Patches, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, Puck was the same cat who, when he was a kitten, chewed through the little corded remote that I had for my
remember that.
Alarm clock, my clock radio. One time, like, what's wrong with this? It doesn't work.
I had a cat, Phoenix, who tangled with a skunk. That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
And so we tried all the bath, the tomato sauce, and her little white chest turned pink from the tomato sauce. But I had her collar for a long time after she died, and that thing still, you could just faintly smell the skunk. Yeah, lasted forever.
Did you listen to Stitching with the Housewives this morning?
No, I haven't listened to it yet.
Priscilla was saying that her cat got into her sunflowers or something. Not the real ones, the fake ones. The bunnies are eating her real flowers.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was saying that it was just shredded, and she's like, ah! And she's like, it better not get into my Christmas stuff. And I almost said, you need to bolt the top of your tree to something.
Yeah.
Because it's still a kitty, a baby.
No. Yeah, ours, well, we didn't have a Christmas tree last year, so ours have never had a Christmas tree either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, it's going to be hard. But, so I'm going to put up pictures here today, right as I was getting ready to come. My cat, at the end of the conference, I was sitting in the dining room listening, and it's an online conference. And at the end, my cat is behind me. We have a window table in the dining room, and he was going nuts. And I was like, gosh, I thought it was a fly in the house, because Calvin was chasing one earlier, so I thought that's what it was. I thought it was in the windowsill, but I kept hearing him over here, like fussing in the window and doing that little meow and the little chirps. And I'm like, man, he must have a fly, why is he why isn't he on the floor getting it, but he was up there. So I didn't know. And then I get up and I'm getting ready to go, and he's sitting just like this, just staring, and so we have a big bush right outside our dining room window, and so I'm looking in there, and I see a hummingbird. He's just sitting right, like a foot away from the window, a little bit down, and Hobbs is just like with his eyes like this, and he's just intent. We're not, like we're touching him, petting him. No, he's not moving. And then, so I took a picture, and I'll put that here. And then a little while later, I went to say goodbye to him because I was going to leave. I was just going to go pet him. And he was still. And I'm like, gosh, because then I took the dog out and I went out with her and I was looking at the bush and I couldn't see so I thought, I scared it away when I went outside. So I come back in and no, there's Hobbs like this. And this time the bird is facing us and you can see. So from the back, his back was green. But then I thought it was a different bird because he was facing us and his head was as red as this, and then he turned his head and it was green again. It was so cool how they're so iridescent. And I tried to take a picture. I'll put it up here, but it was just so neat and then we were like, is it sick? Is it wounded? Does it have an egg in there? I don't know, because my husband sent me a picture later that bird keeps coming back to that same spot, and at one point it flew towards the house and then went back to that branch. So there's something. The air conditioner condensation drips right there and waters that plant for us. So we thought maybe he's there drinking water because that's what they do sometimes. Like one time I took film of one. We had one of those sprinklers like this, and he was sitting on this little wire fence that we had around the garden, and the hummingbird was just sitting there taking a shower, in the sprinkler. So we thought maybe he's there getting water. But I don't know. So I hope he's not injured or sick, but and I didn't look for a nest or anything like that. But
when I lived in Little Rock, there was a tree kind of catty corner to my apartment balcony, and there was a hummingbird nest in there. And so I would always get hummingbirds there on my balcony, and I had a feeder, and so they would, there's always hummingbird wars, there the feeder. And one day this was when I had been laid off and I was unemployed for several months, and I had my balcony my balcony door standing open, and I was, on my computer doing whatever, and these hummingbirds were out there, and these two hummingbirds flew in, and I heard zzz, zzz, and they flew in, and I turned around, and right then they just flew out again. They were chasing each other, and I thought, wow, and I thought, well, I should probably close the balcony door because they're gonna, come in and I had when I put the feeder out, I was reading this. There was a hummingbird site, so I was reading about how to make hummingbird food, you know, and all the stuff and things about hummingbirds. And one of the things was how to help a hummingbird if it gets trapped in your garage, because a lot of times they see, you know, all garages that have a garage door opener have like a red plastic handle. They're required by law to have a handle there so that you can manually open the door in case the garage door comes down on somebody or whatever. And so you can pull on this handle and it'll open the garage door. So, but with hummingbirds, if the garage is open and that red handle, you know, is visible, they think it's a flower. And so they'll fly into your garage and you know, get confused by this handle. But then when they go to fly out, they don't think to fly down and get out. They fly this way and they get trapped and they fly, you know. And so it's saying, you know, if a hummingbird gets trapped in your garage, what you do is you can close the door, and if it's there's no, you don't have windows or whatever, if it's dark, and they'll if you turn the light off, and they'll flutter down to the ground, and then you can actually capture them.
Mm-hmm.
And open the garage door and let them out.
Mm-hmm.
So I had read that, but anyway, so I had this thought: oh, I should shut that door because they're going to fly in and, you know, they get trapped in here. So before I could even turn around and close the door, one flew in the door, and then couldn't get out because it flew in this way and went this way, and there was a window right next to the
So it's trying
balcony
to get out the
door.
window. Yeah.
So it was trying to get out the window, and so it was going boink, boink, boink,
Oh, no.
boink, and every time it hit the glass, it would leave a little drop of something, you know, on the glass. And so I was like, oh no. And so I thought, well, I don't want to. There was blinds on the window, and my first thought was, okay, I want to close the blinds so that it will see the light of the balcony door and go out the door, right? And so, but I was afraid to close the blinds because I didn't want to, you know, hit the hummingbird's wings because it was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought if I put the blinds down, I might hit his wings and, you know, hurt him or whatever. So finally, I was able to I was like lowering the blinds little by little, and so finally he flew out, and I thought he was going to fly out the door, but instead he flew up above the door, and there's a little transom window up there.
Uh-huh.
And so he was over there, you know, trying to get out the transom window. And so finally, I don't know. There was I had a little curtain rod up there because I had a little, you know, thin curtain. And when I had the balcony door open, I just put it kind of behind the door. But the curtain rod was up there. So he kind of went behind the curtain rod and sat up, you know, between the curtain rod and the glass. He was sitting up there. And so I had shut the window blinds, and I thought, well, how am I going to get him out of there? So I finally, I got my little stepladder thing, and I climbed up there, and I had to actually take the curtain rod down to get to him, and he was sitting up there like, oh, scared. So I actually grabbed him with my hand, you know, and I took him up to the door, and I opened up my hand, and he was so tiny. He was like this
so
big.
little. I can't believe how little they are.
And I just opened my hand, and he went zip.
Well, you know,
I think about
you
their
kind of do the same
heartbeats.
things with bees. I am not a fan of anything that flies around me, but bees, I don't want them near me, but I don't want to kill them.
Yeah.
And I used to work in a place that had a lot of bees around there. There was a dumpster directly behind our back door, which we often had open because it was stifling where we worked. And one day a bee came in, and all the people that I was taking care of were terrified. And they're screaming, and I'm like, okay, everybody be quiet. Just be quiet. Leave the back door open. And this place didn't have any outside windows, so if you turned the light off, it was dark, right? So I closed all the doors so it couldn't go in a different area, and turned off the light. You just went back outside. and you know, because if you can get it dark enough where you are, they don't want to be in your house.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a spider or a scorpion or something that is looking for something in particular. They don't want to be in your house. They want to be out where the flowers are and all that, and they just get trapped.
When I lived in Little Rock, I used to babysit before I worked full time. I used to babysit for a set of triplets, and one day the mother actually didn't work. She was, you know, home, but I worked like 3 days a week, so she could go out and run errands and whatever. And she had a school age kid, and so I was there taking care of the babies, and they were napping. And Stormy, the mother, and her was going to take the daughter somewhere, I guess. And just before she left, her husband had, like the day before or something, had been mowing the lawn, and the lawnmower kicked up a rock and broke the storm door. And it was like a glass storm door, and it had broken the lower panel of the storm door. So they had not replaced it yet, right? And but there was like a wasp nest or something in the tree in front of the front of the house. So anyway, right as she left, a wasp had come in, like underneath the door, that lower door, through that lower part of the broken door, and so she had leaves, so she's like, "Oh, sorry," you know. there was a can of like wasp spray or whatever in the house, and and so anyway, she left, and so I was like, and so I was, again trying to, there was, close the blinds here, and and try to get it, to go out the door. Well, of course, it wouldn't go out. It wouldn't go down to go out the door. It was going this way, and there was glass on the top of the door. And so then it started to go upstairs where the babies were napping. I was like, no. So I didn't want to like swat at it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to get mad and attack me or whatever. And so I was like kind of trying to shoo it out there. And so I thought, well, I have to open the door to get it to go out because it won't go down.
So I opened the door,
and then another one came in. I was like,
my gosh.
And so finally they flew out and was like, shut the door, shut the door.
Oh my gosh.
It was very scary. Yeah. So.
Yeah, with bugs like that, sunlight's your friend.
Well, we have had a long day and lots of talk. And look, I picked up my gusset stitches, so now it's becoming a sock. Mm-hmm. While we were talking, that's what I was like intently counting. Anyway, oh no, something happened.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm trying to do Saturn, and it's making me crazy.
Well, thanks for joining us, and we had fun stitching along with you guys, and we will be back next week with more nonsense and more fun, and I guess it'll be 4th of July.
Yeah, it'll be
4th of July.
Yeah.
And thank you to all of our new subscribers. We should have said that in the beginning.
Exciting. Yeah.
And tell your friends,
Yes.
like and subscribe. But it's, if you hadn't seen us before, we didn't even start with that. So sorry.
But yeah, no, it's been fun, and we're glad so many of you are tuning in, and we really appreciate it, and we look forward to spending more time with you next week.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.